Hey guys, ABZZDEV here. Welcome to another of my in-depth weapon review videos. In today's video, we're going to be taking a detailed look at another one of the 200 credit weapons available in the cycle, the Scrapper, what mods are available for it, and a few recommended loadouts for this gun. The 200 credit weapons are generally a great way to get a head start against opposing prospectors on Fortuna 3, making them incredibly important. So important in fact, that most of your early game should be strictly dedicated to getting 200 credits as fast as possible. The 200 credit weapons will allow you to win any PvP encounter in the early game, assuming that everyone else is still stuck on their starter pistols, and will help you blast your way through mineral drills with ease, helping you rack up them credits to complete your loadout, and get you enough VP to get you a lead on the rest of your lobby. The Scrapper is a Core 11 innovation that was supposedly created by a waste management engineer with a bit too much time on his hands. You might find this gun to be quite similar to both the PDW and the ASP in both how you use it and when you use it. This weapon takes a small grind to acquire, with it being unlocked with faction level 7 and costing 4,000 cryptomarks. This cheap SMG has a variety of mods that allow you to tailor it to suit you and your playstyle. By default, this SMG shreds in both PvE and PvP if used correctly. This weapon is best used for close quarters combat against both rival prospectors and the creatures of Fortuna 3. The Scrapper features the following stats: a base damage of 35 per round, a crit damage of 45.5 per round, a magazine size of 24, a relatively short reload time of 1.8 seconds, a DPS of 432, and a damage drop off that starts at 20 meters and ends at 40 meters, where it now deals 28 damage per round and crits for 36.4. To give you an idea of just how powerful this weapon is, it can put a Howler to sleep in 38 rounds and a Brute in 86, taking 5 seconds and 12 seconds respectively. This weapon has a decent projectile speed of 250, meaning you won't need to lead your shots much, if at all, when in close range. Now let's move on to my first loadout for this gun. With this gun being best in close range, I personally feel like a rail mod would be unnecessary, especially considering your cryptomarks could be better spent elsewhere. This is completely optional with it having minimal effect on gameplay. This loadout uses the Heavy Slicer body mod. This mod costing 1,700 cryptomarks will allow you to be 4 meters further away from your target before damage begins to drop off. I've included this mod to ensure you're using this weapon in its most optimal range more often, especially considering the slightly reduced mobility this season. For the stock mod I have decided to use the Heavy Handle mod. This mod that will set you back 1,700 cryptomarks increases your stability by 1.77 up to 3.54. The added accuracy you get with this mod will help you hit more of your shots and make recoil control generally easier. Next up we have the 1,700 cryptomark Xenotoxic Shards magazine mod. The Xenotoxic Shards mod gives the Scrapper a 10% damage buff when fighting Fortuna 3's creatures. This improves damage per second against mobs by 43 up to 475 and reduces time to kill. This loadout is primarily PvE focused with the goal of getting you credits as fast as possible. It is worth noting, however, that this gun still shreds in PvP. Before I continue the video, a quick reminder to drop a like and sub if you're enjoying it so far. It really is appreciated and helps my channel grow. If you would like to use something more PvP focused, my next loadout is for you. This loadout places a larger emphasis on using this weapon for close quarters combat against hostile prospectors. Yet again, I have opted to not use a rail mod because I personally feel like a rail mod would be unnecessary. As mentioned earlier, this is completely optional, with it having minimal effect on gameplay. While there are other viable options, I think that the Heavy Slicer body mod is probably your best option yet again here, as there isn't a huge difference between PvP and PvE in this regard. With it being the only handle mod, I have again chosen the Heavy Handle mod. For the magazine mod, I have chosen to go with the 3500 cryptomark Quicksilver Coating mod. This is very similar to the aforementioned Xenotoxic Shards mod, but this time around damage is applied to hostile prospectors. The Quicksilver Coating mod gives the Scrapper a 5% damage buff when fighting rival prospectors. This may only be a slight improvement, but it's one nonetheless. The damage per second against prospectors will see an increase of 21.6 up to 453.7 and reduces time to kill. Now onto the alternative mods for this gun. In terms of rail mods, we only get the option of the Holographic Sight mod. The Holographic Sight mod, as you probably guessed, adds a holographic sight to the Scrapper. Whether it's worth the cost of 1,700 cryptomarks is really down to you. For the body mods we have the choice between the Burst Mode mod, the Heavy Slicer mod, and the Control Chamber mod. The Burst Mode mod is rather self-explanatory, with it, as you would imagine, changing the firing mode from full auto to burst fire. This mod will set you back 1,700 cryptomarks. The Heavy Slicer mod, costing 1,700 cryptomarks, buffs the effective range of the scrapper by 400. As previously mentioned, this mod will allow you to be slightly further away from your target before damage begins to drop off. The Control Chamber mod will set you back 1,700 cryptomarks. This mod increases the stability by a small 0.19, which I would consider to be an amount too small to be worth buying. The only mod available for the handle is the Heavy Handle mod. Coming in at 1,700 cryptomarks, this mod will buff your stability, increasing it by 1.77 to 3.45. Moving on to the magazine mods, we have the choice between the Xenotoxic Shards mod, the Heavy Duty Container mod, the Quicksilver Coating mod, and the Lightweight Container mod. The 1,700 cryptomark Xenotoxic Shards mod, as I previously mentioned, gives the scrapper a 10% damage buff when fighting Fortuna 3's creatures. This improves the damage per second against mobs by 43 up to 475 and reduces time to kill. The Heavy Duty Container mod, costing 1,700 cryptomarks, increases mag size by 3 up to 27. This will allow you to deal more damage before having to reload, effectively giving you more DPS for free. I would consider this mod unnecessary for a gun that already has a sizable magazine like this one. The 3,500 cryptomark Quicksilver Coating mod is very similar to the aforementioned Xenotoxic Shards mod, but this time around damage is applied to hostile prospectors. The Quicksilver Coating mod gives the scrapper a 5% damage buff when fighting rival prospectors. The damage per second against prospectors will see an increase of 21.6 up to 453.7 and reduces time to kill. The Lightweight Container mod, costing 1,700 K-marks, slightly improves reload time from its former value of 1.8 seconds down to a new value of 1.62 seconds. I find it hard to recommend a mod that has an effect as small as this, especially considering the better alternative mods. Before I end the video, I must note that with all mods and weapons in this game, preference and playstyle should be your largest deciding factor in what you end up using, regardless of what is the meta. If you have made it this far, thank you for watching. If you would like to see more of this type of video, please let me know in the comments section down below. If you could like or subscribe, it would be much appreciated, but only if you enjoyed the content. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.